And I fell out with my homeboy today, man. I gotta tell y'all what happened. So, as y'all know, man, I work in cybersecurity, right? Sometimes my job, it forces me to work beyond normal hours, right? The typical 8 to 5, that's the ideal work schedule, but sometimes I have to work longer than that. And I got this homeboy, right? This is my day one homie. He hit me up one day while I was working, and he wanted to get on the game on the sticks. And I told him that I was working. And he said something to me. What this motherfucker say? He said, man, one day you're going to look back and ask yourself, is it really worth it? And then I sent him a response back. I said, is what really worth it? And then he said, all that time you putting in for the white man. And then I said, what do you mean? You mean actually working hard and trying to build something for myself? I'm going to ask myself, is that worth it? He said, no. He said, all of the stress that's causing you, right? You putting in all this extra time and getting you some money, but is it worth the stress, right? He went on to say, the extra money may be cool right now, but that also takes away from time you have with your son, right? So most of y'all know I got a 3-year-old boy, right? And I guess working and just trying to accomplish my goals, my dreams, leads me to be away from my son. And it's due to me wanting to provide a future for my boy. I don't want my boy to have to work as hard as I have in life, right? So I'm trying to take those steps to make sure that he doesn't have to, right? Making sure that I have a savings for him, making sure that I have investments for him, stuff like that. So me doing all this work, it takes time away from my boy. And he was like, you're going to regret the time that you're away from him or something like that. And I said, I don't think so. Because me being away, I'm not just away doing nothing, right? He's having a great life now, and he's going to continue to have a great life because of the work that I'm putting in. And then he was like, that sounds nice. I said, it is nice, right? My boy's able to do stuff at the age of 3 that most kids aren't doing. And then he was like, what? I said, well, me and my boy, when we link up, we're doing everything, right? We hit SeaWorld, Disney World, we hit aquariums, we hit Discovery Zone, New Year's and shit just passed. We was at like on ice and shit and Grinch and the Nutcracker and all kind of stuff. And you think that that's worth it when you're away from him for the time that you are? I said, hell yeah. Those are experiences he will always remember, right? Those are experiences that you will never be able to provide for your family because you don't want to work, right? So then when I said that, all hell broke loose. We got into a little argument. So, I'll give you all the backstory, right? So my homeboy, my day one, right? We're supposed to be just grinders, just hustlers. My homeboy works home. Y'all know I'm from Nashville, right? My homeboy works back home. He works a part-time job. And his wife, she works full time. Right? And they got 3 kids. And hey man, you understand that you want to be there all the time and stuff for your family, but why do you want to be there if you're doing nothing? And he was like, what do you mean doing nothing? I said, well, I just told you the stuff that I do with my boy. You'll never be able to do any of that stuff because you don't want to work. And then he was like, I don't think that me working, you're working, will benefit us. I'm able to be here every day with my kids and we don't have to send them to daycare. And I said, but they don't have a life yet. Because they're at the house and they can't do anything, they don't have any extracurricular activities, don't have any accelerated learning programs, all this stuff. Ocean, he's already in. He's in accelerated learning programs. He has all these extra activities. The boy out here swimming. He out here got basketball that he's doing already. Soccer. All has a life, right? And a bunch of friends. Always going on kind of like that. Birthday parties, get together, doing all that kind of stuff, right? And like I told him, I was like, man, your family will never be able to do that because you can't afford it, right? I will never be able to call you and be like, hey man, let's go to the aquarium. Let's go to Discovery Zone. Or, want to go to the fair, right? I can't call you because I know you ain't got no money, right? Because you've been too busy working this part-time job and spending your money on bills when your girl paying the most of the bills because she the only one working, right? And he tried to relate to me that he got to this part-time job. I said, look, man, that's not no fucking job, right? If you are 30 and your co-workers are 15 and 16, that ain't no fucking job, right? If you're working part-time and you have a full-time job supplementing or some shit like that, that's just extra, I get that. But if that's your main source of income, a part-time, man, bro, get the fuck out of here. If you're 30 with a part-time job, my guy, you already lost. And you went a little bit further, you back and forth, you already lost. And he was like, I wish I could pull this shit up, man. Some of that goofy shit he was saying. I can't, hold on. It was straight goofiness. I told him about the accelerated learning, right? He said that able to teach his kids, right? So they don't need no programs and no school and no daycare. He said they don't need that because he's able to teach his kids. I said, bro, let's be real, right? We chop it up, right? When I'm not working, bro. You at the crib getting fried and playing 2K. You are not teaching your fucking kids, right? You're not. It's cool. You can make it sound good, but you're not, right? And you're using that as an excuse, right? Of course, programs and shit like that gonna cost money, right? Accelerated learning, all that shit gonna cost money. So we know he ain't got it. So it's pretty much an excuse. And then I went even deeper, right? I was just trying to let him understand his mindset is warped. I said, we're in our mid-30s, right? In 5 years, okay. Well, him, some shit like that, 2, 3. He closer to 40 than me. In a few years, we're going to be 40. 40, bro. 40. What are you going to have to show for yourself at 40, right? What he told me was, we have a plan over here, right? Meaning him and his wife, right? To something. My response is, bro, who the fuck is we? You sound absolutely insane, my nigga. There is no we to this shit, right? Your family is only gonna go as far as you take them, the man, right? Your woman, I've gotta keep it keeping it solid right now for working full-time job and providing, paying the most of the bills. She gonna get tired of that shit, bro. She's going to get tired of that shit. Busting her ass 40 hours a week. Every 2 weeks, she ain't got no money because she gotta pay that shit on the rent. Pay that shit on utilities. You pay what little extra you can on some of the extra shit, the cable or the phone, whatever, right? She's going to get tired of that shit, right? And the way you're currently working, that shit ain't gonna provide for nothing. My God, like I said, we about to be close to 40. You ain't got a car in your name. You ain't got no house in your name. You're not even paying full rent by yourself. She paying rent with you, my God. I ain't had help on rent since I was fucking 17. 17! Ain't no female had to ever help. Well, no, I take it back. Mom Dukes, but that was, like I said, I was 17. Gotta get up out the house, man. I gotta shake and move. Anyway, my adult life, ain't nobody ever helped me pay none of my bills. None of them. And it's just due to the fact that I was raised to be a man. I seen, and I still see, in working, right? So I just can't have it for me personally. So still going, and I'm just like, oh, got nothing to show for yourself. And if you just look back on the last 10 years, what have you accomplished? And if you are still not wanting to work, right? You're heading into 2026 without a plan to move to a full-time job and keep letting her bust her ass working. What do you have to look forward to for the next 10? Right? It's going to take some years of really working in order to provide something for yourself. To get a savings, to get a 401k, to get real fucking insurance, because your part-time job ain't giving you shit. It's going to take time. And with your current mindset, it's designed to have shit in the future. Right? It's designed to go nowhere. Just sit in the car.